listen. It's the story of Peter Pan.
Peter Pan, who are you, Peter Pan?
I'm a little boy who never grew up. My name is Peter Pan. I'm the captain of the little boys from Never, Never, Neverland.
Peter Pan, from Never, Never, Neverland.
Very late one night, Peter Pan flew to the nursery window of Wendy Darling. As he climbed in the window, Wendy woke up.
Who's there? Who are you?
I'm Peter Pan.
What do you want, Peter Pan?
I've lost my shadow, and I can't get along very well without it. Did I leave it here?
I don't know. Mummy did find a shadow the other night, and it didn't belong to me. She tucked it under my pillow to keep it warm. Here, is this your shadow?
Why, yes. Yes, it is. But how will I ever get it back on?
Oh, that's easy. I'll sew it on for you. I'll stitch and stitch, I'll stitch and stitch, I'll sew your shadow on.
Ouch, that hurts. Ouch, that hurts. But please, my dear, go on.
Be still, I'm almost done. There, your shadow's on.
Thank you, Wendy. You know, you'd make a wonderful mother for the lost boys in Never, Neverland.
Who are the lost boys?
They're the boys who never grew up.
Oh.
Won't you fly away with me and be their mother?
But I don't know how to fly.
I'll fix that. I'll call my friend Tinkerbell the fairy. Tinkerbell! Tinkerbell! All you can see of her is a little flame, but you can hear her if you listen.
Why, so I can. May I say hello to her?
Certainly.
Hello, Tinkerbell.
Tinkerbell, will you sprinkle some fairy dust on Wendy so she will be able to fly? There you are, Wendy. Now wave your arms and fly with me to Never, Neverland.
We'll fly away to Never, Neverland. Tinkerbell will lead the way to Never, Neverland. We'll sing and play in Never, Neverland. So fly away to the land of Peter Pan.
For a time, all went well in Never, Neverland. Wendy became the mother of the lost boys. She mended their clothing, told them stories, and tucked them in at night. Then one day into the forest came Peter Pan's enemy, the wicked pirate, Captain Hook. I'm Captain Hook, I'm looking for Peter Pan. When Peter heard that Captain Hook was back, he gathered his boys around him and went out to battle the pirates.
We're the boys from Never, Neverland. We're the boys who never grew up. We'll fight the pirates to a stand. We'll never, never give up. We'll follow Captain Peter Pan. We'll fight no matter where. We'll chase the pirates from our land. Captain Hook had best beware. Captain Hook had best beware.
Poor Wendy sat at home and was very worried. She waited and waited. Then finally, Peter Pan came bursting into the room.
Wendy, we've beaten them. The wicked pirates will never come back to the forest.
Oh, and how are the boys, Peter? Was anyone hurt?
The boys are all right, but poor Tinkerbell. Captain Hook gave her an awful clout with his sword. I'm afraid she is dying.
Oh, Peter, what can we do to save her?
There's nothing we can do. But if all the children who can hear my voice show that they believe in fairies by clapping their hands, that will save Tinkerbell.
If you believe in fairies, then clap your hands. If you believe in fairies, then clap your hands.
Tinker Bell will get well if you clap your hands.
If you believe in fairies, then clap your hands.
Look, Tinker Bell's light is brighter than ever. The children saved her. Oh, isn't it wonderful?
Yes, but,
What is it, Peter? What's Tinker Bell saying?
she says your mother is worried, Wendy. Right this minute, she's sitting in the nursery crying because she thinks she has lost you.
Oh, I must fly to her, Peter, quickly.
When Wendy was once again in her mother's arms, she told her all about Peter Pan and the Lost Boys. Mrs. Darling said that, of course, they must all come and live with her. And that is how Peter Pan and the Lost Boys found a real mother at last.
And so it ends, and so it ends, the tale of Peter Pan.
Ali Baba was the poorest man in Araby, till he heard those magic words, open sesame. Ali Baba met 40 thieves and found wealth and fame and glory. If you'd like to know the rest, listen to our story.
In the village of Kimsha lived two brothers, Cassim and Ali Baba. Cassim was married to a very rich woman and had plenty, but Ali Baba was very poor and had to work day and night in the forest, cutting wood to support his family. One day, while in the forest, Ali Baba saw a group of horsemen coming towards him. He was afraid they might be robbers, so he climbed up a tree for safety. They stopped right beneath him, and he could see that there were 40 men. Their leader jumped off his horse, stood before a huge rock, and said,
Open sesame!
Lo and behold, the rock rolled aside to reveal a huge cavern. When all the men were inside, their leaders said,
Close sesame!
And the rock rolled back in place. The men came out and rode away. When they were gone, Ali Baba jumped down from the tree and said,
Open sesame!
Again the rock slid back.
Oh, Allah be praised! Look at all that treasure. Those men must indeed be thieves. Well, I'll fill a sack with gold and be gone before they return.
When he reached his house, he told his family what had happened, and then said to his son,
Hassan, go to your uncle's house and tell him to come quickly.
His brother and his wife couldn't believe their eyes. Ali gave each of them a sack of gold. When they returned home, Cassim said,
I'll go to the cave early tomorrow and get much more. Ali won't miss it, and besides, I am the eldest and should have the biggest share.
Cassim went to the cave and said, Open sesame, and once again the rock slid open. But once he was inside, the rock slid back by itself. Cassim shouted,
Open! No, what was that word? Open barley! No. Open rye! Open wheat! Oh.
Poor Cassim had forgotten the word. Suddenly the rock slid back, and in rode the 40 thieves. They seized Cassim and slew him. Later that day, Ali Baba returned to the cave and discovered his dead brother.
Alas, poor Cassim. Look what your greed has brought you.
Ali filled another sack with gold, placed it and Cassim's body in his cart, and hurriedly left the cave. Sure enough, the thieves returned. When they saw that Cassim's body was gone, their leader roared,
Mustafa, go into the village and find out who's been here. Just look for someone who suddenly became wealthy.
Mustafa reached the village just as Ali Baba and his family were returning from Cassim's funeral.
1,000 pardons, sir. Who is that richly dressed gentleman who just passed?
Oh, that's Ali Baba, brother of Cassim, who just died. Just yesterday, he was the poorest woodcutter in the village.
Mustafa knew that he had found his man. When he told the other thieves what he had learned, their leader laughed.
Fetch me 40 oil vases. Fill one with oil, then each one of you get into the others and stay there till I call for you.
When they reached Ali's house, their leader pretended he was an old friend of Cassim, and naturally Ali Baba made him welcome. Later that evening, Ali's daughter-in-law, Morgiana, discovered she was all out of oil. I don't think Cassim's friend will mind if I take a little of his oil. After all, he has 40 full vases on his wagon. But when she approached the first vase, she heard a voice whisper,
Is it time?
Being a very wise woman, Morgiana disguised her voice and answered, Not yet, not yet. At each vase it was the same until she reached the 40th one. Seeing that this one was filled with oil, she quickly drew a goatskin full and took it into the house. When she had brought it to a boil, she quietly crept out into the courtyard and poured boiling oil into each of the vases containing a thief until they were all dead. Ali Baba was shocked to suddenly see his daughter-in-law dancing before them. Without saying a word, she drew a dagger from behind her veil and slew the leader of the 40 thieves.
Oh, wretched woman, what have you done?
Be at peace, good father. Look, is this not one of the thieves you told us about? After Morgiana had revealed who the visitor was and showed Ali Baba the 39 dead thieves in the courtyard, he was so happy he gave Morgiana and his son Hassan half of all the treasure he had found in the 40 thieves' cave, and they and all their children and grandchildren lived happily ever after.
Ali Baba is the richest man in Araby. Since he heard those magic words, open sesame, he defeated the 40 thieves and found wealth and fame and glory. That's the end. We thank you, friends, for listening to our story. Up, up, up so high, Jack climbed the beanstalk, and here's the reason why.
There once was a poor little boy named Jack, whose poor old mother wasn't feeling very well. They had nothing left but a poor old cow, which they finally decided to sell.
Well, Jack didn't act very smart, it seems, for he traded the cow for a handful of beans.
When Jack got home, his mother was angry, so she threw the beans out the window. And Jack and his mother went to bed hungry. In the morning, Jack looked outside, and there was a huge beanstalk which had grown up overnight. Jack was very curious, so he started to climb.
Up, up, up so high, Jack climbed the beanstalk way up to the sky. Up, up, up.
When he got to the top, Jack found a giant's castle, and he heard a loud, rumbling voice.
Wife, bring me my magic hen that lays golden eggs.
After the hen had laid a few golden eggs, the giant dozed off to sleep. So Jack grabbed the hen and ran back to the beanstalk.
Down, down, down to the ground. Jack came down the beanstalk and home safe and sound.
Jack gave the hen to his mother and told her about the golden eggs. Now they didn't have to go hungry. But Jack was still curious about the giant. So again he started to climb.
Up, up, up so high. Jack climbed the beanstalk way up to the sky. Up, up, up.
Jack was hiding in the castle when he heard the giant shout.
Wife, bring me my magic harp.
The harp played beautiful music all by itself, and soon the giant was asleep. Jack grabbed the harp and started to run. But the harp played so loud, the giant woke up and started to chase Jack as he ran back to the beanstalk.
Down, down, down to the ground. Jack came down the beanstalk and home safe and sound.
Jack ran and got his axe. Then he chopped down the beanstalk just as the giant was climbing down after him. There was an awful crash.
Oh, I'm falling! Oh!
The giant made such a big hole in the ground, he hasn't been heard from since.
So that's what happened to Jack and his handful of beans. Pandora.
Listen, it's the story of Pandora's box.
Pandora.
Once upon a time, when the earth was fresh and new, the gods in Mount Olympus looked at the world and were pleased at what they saw. But one thing was missing, and Zeus summoned all the gods and said,
"To crown this jewel, we shall make a perfect creature and send our handiwork down to adorn the new world of men."
And they made a beautiful woman there in heaven, and they called her Pandora.
Pandora, Pandora, to see her is to adore her.
Perfect beyond your fondest dream,
Fairer than mortal eyes have seen.
Pandora, the world waits for you.
And small wonder they called her Pandora, for Pandora means all gifted. Venus gave her beauty, Apollo gave her music, Mercury gave her wisdom, and when their work was done, they sent Pandora to Earth. But just before she left, Zeus said,
"As a farewell gift, take this beautiful box, but you must never, never under any circumstance open it."
Don't open the box, don't open the box. Whatever you do, don't open the box.
For a while, Pandora was happy in her new home. Everyone loved and adored her, and Earth was a heavenly place to be. But wonderful as she was, Pandora was just a human being like us, not a goddess, and she became more and more curious about the beautiful box.
I wonder what's inside.
Don't open the box, don't open the box. Whatever you do, don't open the box.
She kept wondering and wondering about it, and her curiosity grew stronger and stronger, until finally one day she said,
Who will know if I take just one little peek inside?
For the last time, don't open the box. Don't open the box.
I won't take a thing out of it. Just open it a crack and quick close it right up again. What harm can there be in that?
And so, like so many other human beings, Pandora gave in to her curiosity and disobeyed the gods. She went over to the box and lifted the lid ever so slightly. Suddenly there was a whirring noise, and before she could close the cover, hundreds of horrible little creatures came flying out of the box. As quickly as she could, she clamped the lid down again, but it was too late.
Oh, those awful creatures! What have I done?
That's how trouble began. That's how trouble began. That's how evil and sin got loose in the world of man.
In that single brief moment, Pandora had released from the box all the wickedness and sorrows of the world. Sickness and grief, envy and cruelty, where just a moment before, none of these things had existed. But as Pandora stood there, she heard a gentle voice calling from the box.
Oh, let me out! Let me out, too! But who are you? I am
Hope. Hope is a gentle raindrop from the sky, come to paint your garden green when it's parched and dry.
Hope is a sunbeam at the storm's end. Hope is a handshake when you need a friend.
Hope is a smile, it's a song to sing. When you have hope, you have everything.
Oh, the world needs you more than ever now. I will free you.
And Pandora opened wide the cover of the box, and out flew Hope, soaring high into the sky on her way to every corner of the earth, wherever there was sorrow and suffering. And so, although Pandora's curiosity brought evil to the world will be forever grateful to Pandora, for she brought us the most precious gift of all, hope.
Hope is a smile, it's a song to sing. When you have hope, you have everything.
Can you imagine what life would be like if you were no bigger than a thumb? Well, once upon a time, there lived an old couple who wanted a son so much that the wife said, "I would be the happiest woman in the world if I could have a son, even if he were no bigger than my husband's thumb." A passing magician was amused by the woman's wish and decided to make it come true. Soon a son was born to them, and lo and behold, he was no bigger than a thumb, no bigger than a thumb, as small as that. His coat was made of spider webs, and an acorn was his hat. But he had a smile much bigger than a mile, and a twinkle in his eyes. So you forgot that he was not an ordinary size. And they named him Tom Thumb. Tom never grew any bigger, but as he grew older, he was clever and full of tricks. One day, as his mother was baking a cake, Tom climbed up the side of the bowl to the rim so that he could see a little better, when all of a sudden, plop, blub, 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 he fell right into the batter. His mother didn't notice and poured the batter, Tom and all, into a pan in the oven. Tom felt so hot he kicked and struggled inside the cake pan. His mother thought the cake was bewitched and threw it out onto the doorstep. A poor traveler, knowing he would be hungry later on, picked up the cake and put it in his pocket. By this time, Tom had got some of the batter out of his mouth, and he began to cry out, "Help! Help! Let me out! Let me out!" The man was so frightened that he pulled the cake out of his pocket and dropped it on the ground. The cake broke into pieces, and Tom brushed himself off and walked back home. Another day, as Tom was watching his father plow the fields, he fell into a small hole. A raven flew down, caught him in his beak, and carried him over the sea, where he dropped him. As Tom fell into the sea, he was swallowed by a big fish, which was soon caught by some fishermen and delivered to King Arthur's court. Well, the cook opened the fish, and what a surprise! He found Tom Thumb inside. King Arthur was delighted to meet such a tiny boy and appointed him the court jester. Tom's job was to entertain the king and queen and all the knights of the Round Table. I can sit in your hand or jump in your pocket, dance on your hat and swing from your locket, sing in your ear and slide down your nose, skate on your knees and tickle your toes. I can make you laugh till you're numb, though I'm only as big as the eye of a pig or a fig or a twig or a plum or a crumb or a thumb. Bravo, cried the king. Bravo, cried the princes. Bravo, cried the queen. Bravo, cried the little princesses. The king was so pleased that he gave Tom a tiny chair of gold and a tiny golden palace to live in. He ordered a new suit of butterfly wings to be made for him and presented him with a white mouse and saddle so that Tom could ride out hunting with him. Everyone enjoyed seeing Tom prance about in his new finery. Everyone, that is, but the queen. She was very jealous of all these gifts to Tom, and so ordered him to be put into a mousetrap. Help! Help! Cried Tom. Luckily for Tom, a cat noticed that something was alive inside the cage and played with it until it broke, helping Tom to escape. Tom's freedom did not last long, however. One day, while out for a walk upon a cabbage leaf, he was attacked by a large spider. Tom drew out his sword, which was made from a sewing needle, and thrust it at the spider. Said the spider. Ah, said Tom. Said the spider. Ah, said Tom. Finally, Tom killed him, but his own wound was so great that he, too, died. The king and his court were very sorry to lose their tiny friend and cried, "He could sit in your hand or jump in your pocket, dance on your hat and swing from your locket, sing in your ear and slide down your nose, skate on your knees and tickle your toes." He could cheer us up when we were glum. Tom thumb, tom thumb, tom thumb, tom thumb, tom thumb, tom thumb, tom thumb. Goodbye, goodbye, Tom Thumb.
Listen, do you hear that? That's the magic flute of the Pied Piper of Hamelin.
The Pied Piper of Hamelin.
Of Hamelin?
Of Hamelin.
The Pied Piper of Hamelin
Is coming today.
coming your way, coming to play for you.
Long, long ago, the town of Hamelin was in terrible trouble. It was being overrun by rats. Rats by the hundreds. Rats by the thousands.
Rats, 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 stronger than dogs,
Smarter than cats.
great rats, small rats,
Lean rats, brownie rats.
brown rats, black rats.
Gray rats, tawny rats.
Never saw so many, many, many rats.
Those rats are driving us bats. Why doesn't our mayor do something?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, do something.
Get rid of those rats or we'll get rid of you.
Yeah,
I think so, too.
The people of Hamelin were so worried and angry that the mayor called a meeting of the town council.
Gentlemen, you heard them. Either the rats go or we do.
Any suggestions?
How about traps?
No good. We'd need too many.
Let's use poison.
We tried that. The rats were too smart to eat it. Any more ideas?
But no one had a solution, and they were about to give up in despair when in walked a strange-looking figure.
Who are you, and what do you want?
I'm the Pied Piper of Hamelin.
Looks more like a gremlin.
The Pied Piper of Hamelin, a-comin' to save your town.
And how do you propose to do that?
All creatures beneath the sun that creep or swim or fly or run will follow me wherever I go.
Wherever you go?
Whenever I blow my magic flute, and just like that, I can rid your town of every rat.
Every rat?
Just like that. If I do this for you, will you pay me 1,000 guilders?
1,000? 50,000.
Agreed. And without a moment's hesitation, he turned and stepped out into the street. I'm the Pied Piper of Hamelin, of Hamelin, of Hamelin. Come all you rats of Hamelin and follow me. And he lifted his flute to his lips and started to play. He had played no more than 3 notes when a grumbling sound was heard. And the grumbling grew to a rumbling. And out of the houses came tumbling thousands and thousands of rats.
Look at them come.
They're following the piper.
Where's he going?
Look, he's leading them straight to the Wazer River. He's walking right into the river.
And the rats are all following him.
Sure enough, the rats, as though in a trance, followed the Pied Piper right into the river and were drowned. And the mayor stood up and announced,
"This is a great day for Hamelin town. Let's have the biggest celebration our town has ever seen."
Yay!
Just then, the Pied Piper approached and said, "But first, if you please, pay me my 1,000 guilders."
1,000 guilders, well now, that was just a joke. Here, take 50.
Pay me my 1,000, or you'll find me piping a different tune.
Threaten me, will you? Be on your way.
So be it, but you'll regret it. When you make a promise, don't break your promise. You'll find it doesn't pay. When the piper plays, you must pay the piper. Yes, you will pay someday. Once again, the Pied Piper started to play. And before he had blown 3 notes, there was a sound of rustling and bustling and small feet pattering, wooden shoes clattering, little hands clapping, and little tongues chattering.
It's the children, our children.
They're following the Pied Piper.
Oh, where is he taking them? Stop him, somebody.
But the magic of his music made the people powerless to move.
They've crossed the bridge over the river.
He's heading for the mountain. That will surely stop him.
But when they reached the mountainside, a hidden door opened wide, and the Pied Piper and all the children of Hamelin town disappeared inside forever. All but one little boy, who returned crying because he couldn't keep up with the others. And his mother said,
"But why? Why did the children follow the Pied Piper?" "Because his music talked to us about a wonderful land full of popcorn and candy and circuses and flowers and everything. Now the children are all gone, and I've got no one to play with."
And that's how the Pied Piper taught the people of Hamelin an important lesson. But they were grateful, at least, that one little child had come back to them. When you make a promise, don't break your promise. You'll find it doesn't pay. Just